Hello folks, Tyreer here. Today I wanted to play Pokemon Violet using Only Leafeon. I wanted to see how far I could get and I wanted to see if it would be challenging. My story starts out pretty much the same as yours. I met my neighbor, I met a guy with a weird Pokemon, and then I started at a new school. However, one thing that's a little different about my start is it also started with a trade. One of my good friends sent me over my Leafeon, and I promptly put away my starter Pokemon as well as the Flying Pikachu I had claimed for my promotions. Immediately after the trade, my neighbor wanted to battle. It would be the first of many battles with Nemona, and was definitely the easiest. After this battle, the objectives of the game were revealed to me. I was to defeat 5 Titan Pokemon, defeat 8 Gym Leaders, and take out 5 crews of Team Star. The first thing I wanted to do, and the first thing many people will do in their adventure, is go over to the Bug Gym to take on Katy. On my way, I was able to get one of my core moves I'd be using with Leafeon, Aerial Ace. This move is going to be extremely helpful for facing Katy. I run into Nemona at the gym and she explains that each gym has its own gym challenge. Most of them are pretty boring though, so I'll just skip over those. Nemona is very enthusiastic that I've decided to take on the challenge. The fact that Leafeon was a little overleveled and the fact that I also had a super effective mood made this a very easy gym. This is definitely supposed to be one of the easiest gyms in the game though. Despite having a little bit of a level advantage, it did take 2 hits to take out her last 2 Pokemon. After that, I defeated Katy. Up next, I decided to head east out of the main city, Mesagoza, and not long after I got a call from Arven explaining that one of the Titans were very near. Enemy spotted. Thanks to my type advantage, it was very easy to take out this Rock-type Pokemon. Even after he powered up, it only took a couple of moves to take out the Clawf. With the first Titan down, Arven and I were able to collect the Herba Mystica. Arven then made a sandwich with the Herba Mystica, and Miraidon decided he wanted it a lot more than I did. Sharing is caring. After this, I decided it was time to take on the Grass Gym, again being able to use my Aerial Ace for type advantage. Once again, I run into Nemona. She's so goofy. After chatting with Nemona, it's time to take on Brassius, the Grass-type gym leader. He's a little obsessed with art and sometimes will randomly scream avant-garde at me. He seems like the kind of guy who would make paintings out of blood. And once again, it's pretty easy to fly through this gym using Aerial Ace and its type advantage. See? I wasn't lying, he just yells it. After defeating the Leaf Gym trainer, I walk out and I meet Hassel, one of the Elite Four. We'll be seeing him a couple of times before our final showdown. Up next, I decided to take on the Fire Crew of Team Star. In a similar fashion to the gym challenges, it involves a series of steps which includes usually defeating a grunt, using multiple Pokemon to take out a whole bunch of other Pokemon, and then finally, you're able to fight the crew's leader. Technically, I am using other Pokemon here, but they're only level 5 and 7, so it doesn't really count, right? I wanted to challenge the Fire Crew early to go ahead and get them out of the way because I knew if I waited too long, it would just be looming over me. Fire is super effective against grass types, so I know it wouldn't stand a chance unless I used the Terrorization effect. This changes Leafeon's type to normal instead of grass. In this battle I utilized Mud Slap quite a few times to lower the accuracy of the opposing Pokemon, and finish them off with some of the higher damage moves. It took a little bit of time to whittle down the Starmobile's health, but we got there eventually. With Mela's badge secured, I was feeling pretty confident and decided to go ahead and face Atticus of the Poison Crew. The first time we battled, I did kind of forget to charge my Terra Orb, so Leafeon went down pretty quickly. But even after terrorizing, it was a pretty difficult battle, and I decided to try and swap out a move to make it work for me. I tried swapping in Mud Shot, which would be super effective, however, it did a pretty disappointing amount of damage. After this loss, I decided it'd probably be best just to change up my strategy, so I decided to go face Giacomo with the Dark Crew instead. This battle would be a cinch, not only because of my super effective bug-type move, X-Scissor, that Leafeon had learned, but also because apparently I was supposed to take this trainer on a lot earlier. His Pokemon were way underleveled compared to Leafeon. And in addition to that, he only had 2 Pokemon, so it really didn't take much time at all. After defeating Giacomo, I decided to backtrack a little bit and take on the Open Sky Titan. Arven warned me that some boulders were falling down the mountain thanks to Bombirdier, but thanks to Miraidon's dash and my cat-like reflexes, it was pretty easy to get through. Once this battle started, I went ahead and terrorized because I didn't want the super effective flying type moves to be used against Leafeon. And typically, bug type moves would be weak against flying Pokemon, but Bombardier is also dark type, which makes it effective. Arven then shows up to help me take down the powered up Bombardier, and he also talks a little bit of trash. Another easy win and a picturesque victory for Leafeon. Afterwards, we find the next Herba Mystica, which is also turned into a sandwich, which is also eaten by Miraidon, which again powers him up. After this, Arven discloses his real reasons for wanting to hunt down the Herba Mystica, which is to make his Mabosstif feel much better. His Pokemon was injured when he was younger and hasn't quite been the same since then. He's hoping the Herba Mystica will help him bounce back. It already seems to have an effect, which is a great sign. With a newfound desire to keep on helping Arven, I decided to go fight the Steel Titan. This Titan's actually a little bit of a challenge because he's really strong and I don't have very many effective moves against him. But luckily, after powering up, Arven's here to help me, and his Pokemon actually comes in clutch. He gets off 2 Fire Fangs before Iron Treads defeats him, which is all I need, really. We collect the Herba Mystica, and we all have a little picnic together. Both Meridian and Mabosstif power up just a little. Woof. It's been a while since we've taken on a gym, so I decided to go take on the Water-type gym. And once again we run into Nemona, and she once again wants to battle. She wants to battle again, and this battle feels almost as easy as the first one. Even after terrorizing, her Quaxwell is only a one-shot. After battling Nemona, it's time to take on the gym leader Kofu. This battle will once again be pretty easy thanks to the type advantage I have with Leafeon. Fortunately, I take out the Crabominable pretty quickly because Ice is super effective against Sleep type. After this, I meet a woman named Gita, who introduces herself as the chairwoman of the Pokemon League. After my conversation with Gita, I'm able to go pick up the move Dig, which is the final move that I need for Leafeon's moveset. And now that I have this ground type move, I'm able to go back and face the poison leader. But unfortunately, this portion of video got corrupted, but it looked a little something like this. I also faced the normal gym type leader Larry, but that was honestly a pretty boring battle, so you're not missing much there. We pick back up in the Levencia gym, where I run into Mona once again. This time, instead of facing me before the gym battle, she decides to come back after my gym battle to fight me. So I go ahead and take on Iono, the electric gym leader. Similar to my fight with Giacomo, I think I've challenged this gym a little bit late because even a super effective flying type move only took 8 points of health off of Leafeon. My new move Dig would be pretty useful in this battle, however, half of her Pokemon had the ability Levitate, so it didn't affect them. After this battle, I once again run into Gita, who compliments my ability in battle. In this moment, Nemona comes back and also tells me that Gita is the top champion of the Pokemon League. Gita then says she wants to watch the battle between me and Nemona. Talk about pressure. And this is actually one of my most difficult battles with Nemona. Also, here's a lesson to always pay attention when you're playing Pokemon, because I accidentally increased my opponent's attack twice by using grass moves. The reason it was so difficult is because I was paralyzed by Palmo twice. Then, in addition to being paralyzed, Leafeon kept flinching. It got pretty close, but luckily I was able to land a couple of moves. One of them being a Crow Strike, which caused Nemona to say this. The audacity. After our battle, it's time to face the Steel Titan Pokemon Orthworm. Unfortunately for me, my super effective move had no effect on Orthworm, and the rest of my moves were not very effective. Thankfully, Arwen was there to tank some hits for me, as well as lower the Pokemon's defense, which made my win ultimately easier. After this, we grabbed the next Herba Mystica, had a little picnic, and powered up Miraidon so that he could jump higher. We immediately use this ability to head down to Alfrenata to be able to face the Psychic Gym leader, Tulip. Once again, X-Scissor was very useful because it was super effective against the Psychic Tech Pokemon. However, Tulip's Pokemon were really strong on their own. This was honestly one of the closest Pokemon battles we've had since we started this challenge. Again, after this battle I meet Hassel, who compliments not only me but also Leafeon, which I think is really nice. After defeating the Psychic Gem, I decide it's time to face the final Titan, the Dragon Titan, or the False Dragon Titan. The Titan Dondozo is pretty easy to defeat both times, thanks to my Grass-type moves. But then Arven and I discover that the real Titan is actually Tatsugiri. Reenactment was honestly a pretty bad choice for this battle anyway, Arven. This next part's a little long, but I didn't dare cut it out. Look at that good boy. After this touching scene, we get a call from Professor Turo, who turns out to be Arven's father. Turo tells us to head down to the old lab on Poco Path, and this understandably upsets Arven. Now, let's go back to the action. After defeating the final Titan, I head up to the Fairy-type camp to face Ortega. At this point, Leafeon was getting really strong and its attack was really high, and even with no type advantage on Wigglytuff, it was still a one-shot. And then Ortega says this, which is honestly just hilarious. Just due simply to the amount of help this Starmobile had, was honestly a little bit of a long-winded fight, and it got pretty close at one point, but we finished it up like it was no problem. Up next, it's time for another battle with Nemona, and this one's a little bit easier than the last time we met because I don't flinch a million times in a row. Another L for her, at least she's aware of the fact. Now, unlike all the other gyms, this gym challenge is actually pretty fun because it involves double battles, and other than online play, this is the only time you really see double battles in the game. So I enlist my trusty level 7 Pikachu to help me face these Pokemon. And there he goes. Luckily, Leafeon finishes up the job. I beat this kid so bad he forgets math. Alright, Pikachu. Time for round 2. You got it this time. Good job, Pikachu. But not right now. And there he goes again. Alright Pikachu, you'll land a move this time, right? I guess not. After the only entertaining gym challenge, it's time to take on Ryme, the leader of the ghost-type gym. I feel like Pikachu's probably getting really tired of this. After another close call, I defeat the gym leader and take her badge. After defeating Ryme, I'll run into two more trainers of the Elite Four. Rika I met outside the normal gym, but this is my first time meeting Poppy. After this, it's time to face the Ice Gym and the leader Grusha. If you've been keeping count, you know that this is my last gym, and honestly, this is one I was most worried about because of the Ice type. Fortunately for me, it was another pretty easy fight just due to the fact that Leafeon was getting really overpowered at this point. Another thing that's helpful is even though Ice is super effective against Leafeon, Grass still has a normal effectiveness against Ice. After a huge hit from Hurricane, it's time to Terrorize so that we don't get taken out in 2 shots. Another close call because if Leafeon had hurt itself in confusion here, I would have lost this gym battle and had to restart. After getting my final gym badge, I'm greeted by Nemona and Gita, who congratulate me and Leafeon. I'm really glad they include Leafeon in all this. Gita tells me it's time to face the Elite Four, however I do have one more thing I need to do. Before challenging the last 2 gyms, I had tried to defeat Airy of the fighting crew. However, the damage was just so much that I could not heal through it. And even after defeating those final 2 gyms, I had come back and still wasn't able to defeat Airy. So I did something I haven't done in 20 years of playing Pokemon, and I made Leafeon learn a stat change move. Also knowing that I was going into a fighting challenge, I bought a sharp beak to make Leafeon's aerial ace stronger. After this, it was time to challenge Airy one more time. I was able to take out the first 2 Pokemon pretty easily using the super effective aerial ace. Then after Passimian was sent out, I figured it was pretty safe to go ahead and utilize Swords Dance a couple of times. I couldn't do this during Toxicroak or Annihilate because they both had moves that were super effective against me. After using Swords Dance, I was pretty easily able to take out Lucario and Passimian, and now it was time to face the Starmobile once again. And this is when I learned exactly how OP stat changing moves can be, I just didn't have the patience for them previously. The boss that had given me so much trouble was now just one shot, instantly. If only my younger self could see me now. Cassiopeia, the person who was in charge of Operation Starfall, then called me after defeating the final camp. They told me that it was time to take out the big boss, which I didn't need to search for because it turns out it was Cassiopeia the whole time. Was anyone else shocked? Now all Leafeon and I need to do is face the Elite Four, take down the big boss of Team Star, and meet Arvin at the Poco Hill Lab. But this video is getting a little bit long, so that'll be in my next video. Be sure to check out my next video because the challenges I face at the Elite Four are way greater than anything I've faced so far. And the other remaining challenges are pretty fun, so you won't want to miss them. If you like this video, be sure to comment, like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching.